Hey there, let's explore some of the interesting things that happened in the web dev space in the past month. First, let's take a quick look at some new releases. Most notably, TypeScript's version 5 was released. If you didn't know already, TypeScript doesn't follow semantic versioning, so v5 is not that different from the previous 4.9 version. In the video description, you'll find the article announcing this release. As always, some of the information in there is quite technical, and the chances are you'll rarely use some of the new additions. However, it is interesting to see that TypeScript, like all other players in the space, is aiming to become smaller, simpler, and faster. I like to think that this shift towards lightweight and simplicity is enforced by the likes of Solid and Vite, which proved you can be as powerful as the established solutions, but with way smaller costs. Back to TypeScript, in v5 you'll get support for the new decorator standard, functionality to better support ESM projects in Node, simplified configuration, and more. And, since I'm mentioning Solid, one of my favorite libraries these days, last week they announced the release of its version 1.7. While this is not a major one, this release marks the beginning of the library's transition to version 2.0. The team behind Solid is beginning to reevaluate its core APIs and will begin introducing new concepts while deprecating older ones. I have a lot of Solid videos on this channel, and it is no secret I have high hopes for this ecosystem moving forward. One thing that it is still missing though is a complete modern Solid.js component library, but with its wider adoption, the chances are we'll see something worth using fairly soon. Next, let's take a small detour into the React ecosystem. This month, the version 2.0 of Million.js was released. This is a very interesting project aimed to increase the performance of React apps. You are probably familiar with the likes of Solid.js and Preact. These are lightweight, more performant alternatives to React. However, React still has this powerful, great ecosystem around it, so there are reasons to be reluctant to switch to an alternative. Enter Million.js, an optimized virtual DOM that makes React load faster and perform better by reducing the overhead of some of React's internals. There is a lot of talk about deprecating the virtual DOM these days, and, I must admit, a lot of the arguments make a lot of sense. After all, the likes of Svelte and Solid.js are destroying virtual DOM-based libraries when it comes to performance. Having better alternatives to the diffing strategies React employs in its native virtual DOM implementation is a step in the right direction. Million.js definitely deserves more attention, so please let me know in the comments if you're interested in its approach, and we can explore the subject further in one of my next videos. Before looking into some cool JavaScript updates from the last DC39 committee meeting, I'd like to take a quick detour and mention ChatGPT's and Whisper's new APIs. March was a crazy month in the AI space, with major releases being announced left and right for the past 4 weeks. If you have a few minutes, head over to the OpenAPI platform and take a quick look at their documentation. I guarantee you'd be amazed by all the things you can build with just a couple of lines of code. Okay, back to some news closer to my heart. This month we got some updates from the last DC39 meeting. If you are not familiar with the committee process, they are in charge of adding features to the ECMAScript specification by moving proposals through 5 stages, starting with stage 0, where the feature specification is open and input is welcomed, to stage 4, when a feature is ready to be added officially in the language. Of course, for each stage, there is a list of boxes each proposal needs to check. The chances are you are using features not yet in stage 4 these days. With the help of a transpiler such as Babel or tools such as TypeScript, developers are using features such as the temporal API or decorators, which are actually still in stage 3. From the last update, I find the import assertion feature quite useful for some scenarios, and I'm really excited about extending the decorator support to methods and constructor parameters. Funny thing how JavaScript is fighting to become more like Java, and Java is fighting to become more like JavaScript, right? Next, let's discuss Electron. Whenever looking at a JavaScript space, it is easy to simply put everything under one umbrella term called web dev. However, for quite a while now, JS is used to build native mobile and desktop apps. In March, Electron just turned 10 years old. This might seem like a lot, but when you think about it, Chrome's V8 and Node.js are almost 15 years old. Electron combined these two together and came up with an elegant solution to build desktop apps using modern JavaScript technologies and with little concern about various operating systems or compatibility issues. These days, the React, TypeScript and Tailwind combo is fairly popular, and using a very familiar web dev workflow, you can easily create complex apps. Think here of the VS Code, Discord or Twitch desktop apps, which were all built using Electron. Before discussing the final topic of this video, I would like to take a moment and ask you to help me fight the big bad YouTube algorithm by liking this video and subscribing to the channel. So, earlier this month, I read this very well written article about the state of web development. I found it so revealing and relatable that it actually inspired one of my latest videos. If you have 10 minutes or so, I advise you to go ahead and read the entire piece. It might feel like a React rant at times, but it is actually an honest and accurate depiction of the last 15 years of web development. I am at fault here as well, since I ended up getting excited multiple times by hot new frameworks just because everybody in the community was excited as well. Let me know in the comments if you feel like I missed something important that happened in March, and until next time, thank you for watching.